move away as a normal movement action, ending the grapple. I think that means that, right, you get away with they don't get a reaction attack.
Well, you can take a reaction for whatever. I mean, you don't have to. There's nothing that prevents you from taking a reaction.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can dodge, duck, dive, whatever you want to do as far as trying to avoid. Parry is another one.
Yeah,
sure. You know, but if somebody... That's another one of those where, you know, and I've had this conversation many a time in D&D 5e because it's retarded. That, you know, okay, so you have an opponent who's prone in front of you. And in 5e, this is the part that always got me. On his turn, he can spend half his movement to stand up. And that does not provoke an attack of opportunity. Now, having been in numerous fights, I can think of 0 times where my opponent would be on the ground and I would be, okay, go ahead and stand back up. No, fuck that. Because I don't fight with honorable rules. I fight until my opponent doesn't get up, and I don't care what it takes for that to happen.
Well, that's the flaw of turn-based combat.
Well, that's the flaw of 5e. I mean, but you know, in Traveler being an OSR style game, it gives a little bit more fiat for the DM to, you know, say, well, that's stupid. I'm not going to follow that.
Right. I'm big on trying to go with whatever you're picturing in your head and just trying to understand that than combat what you're visualizing. I mean, because the theater of the mind, it's so important to have a vision of the battlefield, or just the playing field. So I always try to go with the DM, but I sure as fuck will advocate.
Right?
Know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the things I like about Traveler is that it took a little while to get used to it because I was a late comer to Traveler, and I had been playing, you know, 3rd edition, 3.5 edition, 5th edition for so long that I had it became a habit of there being a dice roll for everything. You don't, you know, the players don't have to interact with the environment. The players don't really have to tell you what they want to do or what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They just make a fucking dice roll, and it's ridiculous. And you know, that led to ridiculous situations. And one that I always bring up, I had a good friend, Eric Davis, was playing in our 3.5 edition game, and it was just like he had the day off and decided he wanted to play with us, so it was just a one-off kind of thing. And they were, of course, towards the end of that particular part of the campaign, so they were against the big bad, and he's playing a rogue, and he says, well, I want to run up to the guy, I want to do an acrobatic flip over him, land on the other side, and make a sneak attack. And I said, you can't do that. And he said,
yeah, you can.
And he said, well, why can't I? I said, because according to the rules as written, you can't, because your action is making that acrobatic flip, which lands you on the other side. So you would then be able to make your attack on the next round when it's your turn again. And he's like, well, that's fucking stupid. I'm like, you're preaching to the choir. All of this came about when Wizards took over and decided that I don't know what their goal was, but talk about making it overly complicated. They took a game that worked very well for a very long time and then fucked it up and made it overly complicated. I really don't understand, you know, there's all these people, oh, you know, well, the rules are great. No, they're not. More rules give you less options as a player. They ruin your imaginative ability because you have to stay inside those rules.
Well, the difference I've noticed is D&D is about fulfilling roles. You need a tank type. You need your mage
not anymore.
Type. Well, I mean, yeah, but
everybody and their fucking dead grandmother can heal now. Why do you need a cleric?
Well, yeah, but I mean, nevertheless, it's still, you know, it's about, you need people to, you need your arcane wizard guy. You need, you need these because the skills are dead set. Whereas Traveler is about taking whatever the fuck you have and figuring it out.
Yeah.
D&D is about fulfilling a need, and Traveler is about taking what you got and figuring it the fuck out.
Right.
And in theory, Traveler is supposed to be a hell of a lot deadlier. But
it is a lot deadlier. A lot of the players that I've brought over mostly from 5th edition over into Traveler, the biggest that's the biggest hurdle for them to get by, is that they are expecting these pre-made rules that they're going to easily fit into. And it's really difficult for them to wrap their head around that the core, if you do the character creation by the core rule book, that every character that is randomly, it's just like real life. Every character that's randomly generated is just a Joe Schmo that, let's face it, 90% of our plans from the age of 18 to present didn't quite pan out the way we had expected. That's life. That's how that works. And, you are average Joe Schmo stuck in an extraordinary situations. And you have to figure it out as you go.
Well, I mean, damage in Traveler is so slow. There is no, quick heal.
No. Well, there wasn't in old D&D either. I mean, you regained 1 hit point a day through natural healing, and at 0 hit points you were dead. There was a house rule that you could do, like, a lot of them did like -5 hit points or -10 hit points.
Yeah.
But the general house rule was that even if you, let's say that you did -10, but you were at -5 and they gave you healing, the healing could only bring you up to 0. And then you had to take however many weeks it was going to take for you to heal up past that. You couldn't, magical healing, it had already done enough. It couldn't do any more. So, I mean, the OSR games are hardcore that way. I mean, the other thing that they were hardcore about is resource management.
Oh, magic user with the D4 hit points.
Right. Well,
Fuck you, and you're needing several thousand experience points that come in 1 or 2 at a pop.
Yeah, no,
D4 hit points. I'm talking about, and I don't even get any cantrips or shit. I got a couple spell slots.
Right. Yeah. For my old school essentials game, I'm gonna let all the first level players, I think, take max hit points, because plus their con modifier, because I don't want any magic users walking around. They've got an optional roll. Oh, well, you can re-roll 1s and 2s. Well, I don't really see that makes a whole lot of difference, because you only get a D4 as a magic user anyway. So re-rolling a 1 or 2 so that you can get a 3 or 4 isn't that big of a boon,
Not to mention that really all the magic users should be part thief, because they end up throwing a bunch of fucking daggers.
Right.
But you're in a cloak, with a robe, and you've got your spellbound. Then you've got like this bandolier of daggers, because that's really all you can do. You don't want to get close.
Yeah, you've got like 1 spell a day, and
yeah.
you got a big stick and a dagger.
Yeah, no shit. And you've got like a loincloth and a cloak.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once they got to 12th level, watch out.
Oh, shit! Yeah. Once they could cast 3rd level spells, watch out.
Yeah, Fireball was a big one.
Yeah, Fireball and Lightning Bolt, man. Whew. Well, and not only that, but you read so this is something that I realized the other day. So, out of from 3rd edition on, they removed this little caveat with Lightning Bolt.
Oh, that it would bounce.
That it would bounce. So, like, with Lightning Bolt, you could do trick shots and bounce it off of hard surfaces. So if you were in a dungeon and you knew that there was a guy off to the left down the hallway, you could bounce it off of that wall and just drill him down that hallway, and you didn't even have to look at him. All you had to do is know that he was there.
Or a 30 by 30 room, you could cross it a couple times.
Right, yeah. Yeah, they removed that from the game, and I'm like, huh. well, that's lame. I think that's kind of cool, actually.
Actually, if you're interested in looking up an interesting system for Magic, look up spheres and powers.
I did take a look at that. It is a little.
It is not simple, and for the DM, it's a pain in the butt. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and it's very different from Vancian magic system. Yes. It's very different, but it is interesting.
We love the snot out of it, but like I said, for the GM, because players can basically they can create a magic user that's a Jedi.
Right.
And you try to keep up with that is just almost impossible.
Well, yeah, and the power creep for magic users ends up being even worse than it is regularly. But I don't know. I don't know. I like the OSR rules the way they stand, and like my next campaign is going to be my next D&D campaign is going to be Old School Essentials. We're going all the way back to the very beginning, and
there's some interesting stuff there. You know, like Sleep didn't have a save.
No.
So that arguably is very powerful.
Yeah, and the weird thing, so like Sleep, 3rd edition was the big change for Sleep, where it got a save, or maybe 2nd edition they got a save. I don't remember, but 3rd editions I remember being the big difference where they got a save, and then I don't know. I didn't bother with 4. I played like half of one game of 4E, and I'm like, this is bullshit, and I just never went back.
I agree. 4E sucked.
And then 5th edition, they're like, oh well, no, Sleep does this many hit dice, and I'm like, that's dumb. And essentially, it made Sleep after about 3rd level. Sleep was just completely useless because when are you gonna fight anybody that has that few hit dice, right?
Right. Well. 5th edition, in my opinion, is when they tried to make it a video game. We're gonna make D&D just like you're playing one of your MMORPGs.
Well, and that
long rest, short rest.
Yes, yeah. You know, I had a sandwich and 8 hours of sleep, so I have all of my hit points back. Like, no.
Yeah, they simplified it quite a bit.
Yeah. But see that again, that's another part of the resource management. OSR games, you know. Oh, well, a torch burns for, 4 hours. Okay, well, how many torches you got, and how long are you planning on being in the dungeon? Because if you don't have enough, you're in the dark. So, that could be a problem.
Well, as we used to say, blind humans, and nobody would play a human.
Right. Right. Yeah, infravision instead of dark vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really dig the old stuff. It was so easy too. I did it today. It was so easy to either tack on a class to a monster, like you could take a white and give him the assassin class, and it was you don't even have to really think about it. You just look at the chart and go, okay, well, this is what he's getting, or to even create a new monster from scratch was just. It's so easy compared to what it is now. I mean, with 5th edition, yeah, give me 2 or 3 hours and I could probably maybe come up with a new monster, but that's why so many guys are just reskin other monsters, because it's just a pain in the ass. It's ridiculously stupid how hard they've made this game. But I digress. Hello, Corey. Hello, Cameron. Is Devin off doing? Yo. Is Devin here, or is he off doing something with the scouts again?
He's doing the scout leadership meeting thing, and I don't know. It's kind of random how long it lasts, but yeah, he's gonna make it if he can, and I have his character sheet and can do stuff.
No worries. We can. Oh, well, that was dumb of me. We can add him. Well, I was going to say we can add him in if he comes back, but if you've got his character sheet, I guess there's no real need to remove him.
Yeah, good.
There we go. He's back But welcome to Pirates of Drinax. We will be picking up where we left off last week. Last week they are on the planet Uiuikhtaiu, and they are at the manor of the clan lord. And I am just going to not try to pronounce his name because my tongue and lips do not want to work that way. But they went into his manor, which is two biodomes, and they are their own. He's got these biodomes set up that are their own biome inside. That they have savanna plains, grass, and jungle-like trees, and they are seeded with populations of awua and Uiuikhtaiu and monkey meat creatures, the still. And so they went and they hunted the biggest, baddest creature they could find, and now they are sitting around the campfire, getting ready to have their meal. Before we get started, we would like to thank one of the friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They're just products that we really like by manufacturers that we really like. Today we would like to thank a new friend is Norse Foundry. Norse Foundry makes beautiful metal and stonework dice. All of their dice are absolutely fantastic. It's not just metal and stonework. They also have bone dice and wood dice. I did check their website. It looks like they're out of their bone dice, but they had or hopefully they'll get more in, but they had some that are made from like yak horn, and they're just amazing. So definitely check out Norse Foundry, and we don't have a code for you. I will actually reach out to them and see if I can't get some kind of discount code, but definitely check out Norse Foundry. We definitely like them. If you're a fan of our Traveler games, we do have a website via Obsidian Portal. It's down in the description below. The adventure log is written in the manner of news service articles that brings in information from around the Trojan Reach. Right now, these guys are traveling with a news reporter and her holographer cameraman. Yana Teak is the reporter with Traveler News Service, and her cameraman's named Nendo. And so these guys will be taking kind of a front page story. Yana Teak is a very famous Traveler News Service reporter, so definitely check out that website. If you like the content, please go to the front page and give us a thumbs up. We like to see those fan likes. We hope you enjoy. Excuse me. I have been creating a we were just talking about Old School Essentials. I've created a new campaign setting called Brawnhaven, and there are a number of adventures out for Brawnhaven to support the campaign setting. The new one I am currently working on is called The Ruins of Castle Brawn, and the adventures are chock full of maps and little details, and it is unlike most RSR games. It is not just here's a dungeon and kick open the door and kill stuff. I am trying to there is a backstory, a plot to it, but there's also a lot of rooms for you to kick open the door and kill stuff. So if you are looking for a new campaign setting, or you would like to check out Old School Essentials, definitely search for Brawnhaven on Drive-Thru RPG, and some of those books are on sale right now, so check them out. They should be on sale until this Friday, I believe. So now's the time. So where we left off, you guys had killed the Uiuikhtaiu, and
may I make a chance to do a steward role to prepare the Uiuikhtaiu for the feast?
Yeah. So as you he sends the clan lord, the Co, sends over some of his servants, and they've got a basically it's like a flatbed air raft, and it's got like a winch and a crane on it. and they load this thing up onto the back, and they bring you all back to the campsite and around this campfire, and the with the exception of Rexar, he looks at the rest of you, including Ox. He doesn't have a whole lot of experience with Vargur, but for Beth and Keith and Ting, he looks at you and he says, would you prefer to eat it raw like an Aslan, or would you prefer to cook it over the fire? I know that you humans like to eat things burnt to a crisp.
Oh, raw is the only way to go.
Well, that's not what I expected to hear.
Well, I'm Varg, so.
So yeah, Ting, if you want to make a steward plus intellect check, you can.
Damn right, especially if we're gonna try to eat raw meat. I'm gonna try to use my culinary skills.
He's just messing with it. You can cook.
Oh well, I mean, if we're gonna act like an Aslan, does that mean we get Aslanic titles for our deeds out here?
Oh hell no. He's impressed, but you're not you're not worthy of nobility or anything.
Well, I mean,
Not
I did
yet.
just basically, I humped the thing down into submission.
That's true.
Yeah, but you weren't saying a haiku while you did it. So.
Right.
I missed that on the
that's
haiku.
the line.
Oh well, I rock that with a 14.
Yeah, so I mean, however you want to prepare them, but yeah, the Uiuikhtaiu is if a wua is akin to like beefsteak, and I would actually say, and not that any of us would know, but I would actually say a wua is probably closer to like hippopotamus meat, which at one time, I think it was the late 20s, the early 30s, real life, they actually tried to come up with a plan to raise herds of hippopotamus and rhinoceros like they do cows and sell that as steak. And they found that the rhinos and the hippos were just not really into that. They just weren't going to really put up with that kind of behavior. So
Brazil has quite a problem with wild hippos.
Yeah. Wild hippos are highly territorial and can be fairly aggressive. So, yeah.
I'll just cut the meat into long, narrow strips and braid it together and present it like in kind of a bridge shape. I will call it the Big Damn Bridge cuisine.
Okay. So, and are you even lightly cooking it, or are you just serving it to raw to Keith and Beth?
Yeah, everybody that would like, well, I mean, if we're all just, having a big old straight Aslan hoedown, you gotta go with the culture. If people want to cook their own, I'll offer to cook some on the side, but I'm just braiding up the raw meat in a neat little display, so it kind of looks like a bridge.
Okay.
You know how like the sushi bars and stuff,
right,
they do their rolls, and so I'm just kind of doing that, and maybe put some bones and maybe an eyeball or something out there.
I actually just watched a video the other day where a guy did that exact thing with a pork loin, and he braided it. Yeah. So yeah,
Steak
I'm sure
tartare is actually pretty good.
I'm sorry, what?
Steak tartare, raw steak.
Oh yeah,
they serve it. It's not bad if it's spiced right.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I'm hungry, I can't go grocery shopping with my wife because I will actually literally start salivating as we walk through the meat section. I could just rip the steaks right out and eat them right there. So I'm sure Rexar and Ox are just digging right in. They don't need to wait for the meat to cook. They just grab it. But yes, the Co is is very impressed with the way that you, for humans, for the way that you hunted the Uiuikhtaiu, which is the that is difficult for most Aslan. And you know, Rexar knows that Uiuikhtaiu are usually hunted with, they're usually hunted with, some form of rocket launcher because they are so armored that they can just take a punch. You guys were able to kind of go the long route and hunt this thing down. Not just hunt it down, you Ting climbed on top of it and rode it into submission. And so as you guys are sitting around eating, the like I said, the Ko is extremely impressed with you, and he tells you, you notice around you there are a number of tents set up here. That there are, well, first of all, there's a number of other Aslan males, part of his house retinue. There are a couple of females. Most of them are up here in the this large command tent, or at least that's where they are staying with the Ko. But there are also a number of of servants moving about. Most of the servants that you see are humans. There are a couple of Aslan that are clearly servants. They're not a part of his warrior caste, although you're sure that of the male servants they would have little trouble being such. But there are quite a few humans moving about too. The immediate thing that you notice is that none of the humans that are servants, none of them are wearing. They're comfortably dressed. They're not, wearing anything extravagant like the Aslan are, obviously, but they are not. They don't look like slaves. They're not wearing, rags and burlap sacks with holes for the arms cut into them. They're appropriately dressed. They're not wearing collars of any kind. They are, and they're not, barked at or anything like that. If he asks for something from the servants, he thanks them. He's gracious to them. He doesn't make them sit away in their own little group. He lets them eat right around the same campfire with you guys. They're not treated poorly in any way. And excuse me, he tells you that he is the sole clan lord of Ftaiwehoahyas. His clan, here we go, the Uiuikhtaiu. Yeah, we'll go with that. They were a vassal clan of one of the other larger clans. They have recently broken off, and they are attempting to model themselves after the Uiuikhtaiu. And the Uiuikhtaiu they have become really huge in the Trojan Reach and in the this side of the Great Rift. I don't want to necessarily say that they gave up their warlike ways, because that's not necessarily true, but they have fully embraced the mercantile lifestyle. They are massive traders and business. They have a huge business acumen, and their clan has become hugely successful because of that, because they are kind of spearheading the whole trade situation with the Imperium and and the Florian League all up and down the Dust Belt. So his ideas, they are going to model their clan on that business model. And so far, it seems to be doing quite well. I mean, you saw that the starport is being expanded, and there's all sorts of work being done. And he tells you that and of course, along with Yana Teak and her cameraman, Captain Treadwell is also here dining with you guys. He brought back just an Uiuikhtaiu. He wasn't interested in really doing as much work as you guys did, but he is hugely impressed as well. But the clan lord tells you that he first wants to tell you that he is an advocate for Sophon's rights, and he's adamant that that servants under him, whether they are human or Aslan, it doesn't matter to him. They should all be treated with respect, and that what the glorious empire did to these people is unforgivable. And he seems to you that he is heartfelt in that. And he thanks you for accepting Captain Treadwell's call for service, and tells you, as much of an advocate for Sophont rights as he is, the unfortunate fact is is that there are a lot of humans, and with the Ihati situation boiling up as it is in the Trojan Reach, which you guys are fully aware of, you've had some first-hand dealings with the Ihati. There's just really no place here for humans, and so he gave Captain Treadwell the Betty, the clan transport, and he says, but he says that he has he tells you in kind of like a heavily accented Galanglic. He says that his magnanimity comes with one condition, and he insists. He says, "I insist that you travel only 6 parsecs to any proposed destination that you are going to take these refugees." That's his only clause on this. Now, that could present an issue for you.
How does he feel about possibly supplying us with an ion cannon turret?
I was going to ask him if he had run into any augments before that, because that's like, I don't know. That seemed like a good segue into, hey, maybe this is a giant meat locker kind of thing.
So, yeah. So, to Ting's question, this isn't a great map, is it? I thought I had a better map here.
I mean, the ion cannon doesn't really do a shit ton of damage so much as it's more of a defensive cannon, actually, unless we're pirating. But, it just is really more to depower the ship that we shoot it at.
Yeah, so to answer Ting's question, he just essentially just he's like he just kind of gets this look on his face like I don't talk technology, and he waves over to one of the female Aslan, and he says, go talk with her, and she can she deals with all the female matters.
Oh yeah, well, I'll go talk to her then. Happily, I'll bring her a beef braided steak.
Okay. Hold on just a second. I'm going to get you a better map.
So it's like the Aslan culture. Basically, the dudes are all like warrior leadership things, and the women do all the sciencey backbone stuff.
Essentially, that is the gist of it. The only exception to that usually is like doctors. Yeah, doctors generally, especially not all doctors, but a lot of doctors are generally men, simply because warriors don't want to be treated necessarily on the battlefield by females, and it's considered an honorable profession for males.
Okay. And we're on this HRA.
Yeah,
that planet there.
It is. Nope, you are on Ftaiwehoahyas.
Ah, thank you. Yeah.
And hold on, I'm grabbing a better map here. There we go.
Does he have a reason why he wants them to only go 6 parsecs?
He doesn't. I mean,
could be a time factor.
There are a number of there could be a number of reasons. You know, his clan is the only one in control of this planet, and so if you go out too far, that could pose a problem with other clans, making it seem like you're basically attempting to invade their space. Whether or not that's true, whether or not it's true is really besides the point, because, as you know, in Aslan culture, it's all about perception.
Okay.
Didn't I hear a rumor that Data Theria was a possible colonization prospect? In one of the rumors, if I remember correctly.
One of the rumors. Well, Delta Theta was.
It's not that great now, but it could be upgraded.
There was something about Delta Theta. It was that.
And then this Dogmight was another. It's just on the end of our 6 parsec run.
Which one?
This one. You gave us clues based on this Dostrovsky.
Yeah, Dostrovsky. Okay, hold on, one at a time here. There was something for Delta Theta. There was a rumor that Delta Theta was a possibility, but so he goes over to there's a rock, and he goes over and he waves his hand over it, and a hologram pops up, showing a star chart. And so the problem with Delta Theta, I mean, you know, of course it's a possibility, but it doesn't. Delta Theta is really kind of a crap planet. The atmosphere is garbage. It's just not a great place. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's completely out either.
It's better than being eaten.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, there's that.
Didn't we hear like there was some Glorious Empire folks around Delta Theta? Or was that Colony 6?
That would be Colony 6.
Okay. And then we heard some crap about Dostrovsky, but then there was like a mysterious aura about that you were talking.
So the problem with Dostrovsky is that it is actually one of the few Imperium research bases, and so it's kind of out as well. So here is Ftaiwehoahyas, and so Ting, you go over it while these guys are kind of looking at this map. You know what's suitable within 6 parsecs, and the female, she says, "So you are looking to upgrade the Betty before you leave?"
Yes.
What were you looking for?
Perhaps like an ion cannon turret or a double turret. I'm just wanting something that if we get into an altercation, we can disable the other ship as we make our getaway. And so it's about the closest thing to a medium range peaceful weapon that is, you know, relatively inexpensive and it doesn't have a large power demand.
she tells you that that she kind of looks towards the ground. She shakes. She says, "No, no, that is not available. However, if you were looking for some weaponry, that is a perfectly reasonable request. We would be able to mount um, uh, a fixed mount pulse laser to the front of the clan transport."
Well, that would be wonderful, better than nothing. And we definitely don't take a gifted hippopotamus in the mouth. We're not gonna look at that.
So yeah, she's perfectly, yeah, she seems that would be, acceptable. The matter is that they don't have an ion cannon, and um, going with the clan transport, going with turrets would be a little too overly aggressive. And so she's authorized that she can go ahead and mount a fixed mount pulse laser.
Wonderful. Would she have a problem with maybe supplying a battery that we could go ahead and charge up so we could, just have a little bit more power buffer? Listening to the engineer speak, it was the understanding that we were going to have a serious power drain with all these.
The Betty's already equipped with 3 high capacity batteries. I mean,
yeah, so just I'm just looking at something that could squeeze out maybe 10 power on a steady thing, so we could, use it.
I mean, just
a buffer. Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to give it, that's fine with me.
No,
I'm just
I mean, I don't
get all I can get. Me.
If you wanted a 4th high capacity battery, she wouldn't have a problem supplying that.
Oh, that would be beautiful. Oh, you're most gracious to us. Do you enjoy the beef braid steak?
Oh, she certainly does. She's sitting there mowing down on it.
Yeah,
like a cat with whisker lickings.
Sure, great. Yeah.
So as you guys are looking over this map, and this kind of throws a little bit of a wrinkle, because I mean, you had talked about possibly taking them to fantasy. Shit, I think there was even the possibility of dumping them off at the world, and putting a putting a sticker on the outside of someone's window at the world, and yeah, there was a whole bunch of options, and that they're just simply beyond the 6 parsecs. And he says, before, and you guys are kind of looking over this hologram while Ting's off dealing with provisioning the ship, and he says, before you make your decision, there is somebody that you should meet. And he looks over at one of the servants, and there's this woman. Let me find her. She looks like this, and he waves her over, and she kind of meekly makes her way over to you, and he introduces her. He says, "This is Lenka Ankis." And Lenka looks like she's in her late 30s, maybe early 40s. She's fairly tall. She's got olive skin, dark hair. And despite and he tells you, first off, he says that she was one of the freed slaves from the Glorious Empire when Ftaiwehoahyas was taken over. And he says, despite the status that she was a former slave, she seems to carry herself with a lot of grace and confidence. And she comes up, she shakes hands with Captain Treadwell and thanks him for essentially putting this whole effort together. And she comes up and introduces herself to each of you. And when she comes up to Rexar, she shakes Rexar's hand and she says, "You look very familiar."
I do. Of course I do. I'm a renowned Aslan.
Did you fight in the battle to free my people here on Ftaiwehoahyas?
Did I?
So, yeah, you did. But remember, you're supposed to be incognito.
A lot of us Aslan males look the same. I'm sure it was some other renowned warrior of legend.
She says, "Oh, he was a great hero. You should feel blessed that you look like him."
Oh, I'm sure I am.
And she shakes hands with Captain Beth, and she says, "Who might you be?"
Captain Beth Smith. Shake hands.
Are you gonna tell her you're Beth Smith, or are you gonna keep your disguise up?
Shit! What's my name? God damn.
Yeah, did you come up with an alternate name?
I thought I did.
I'm Clone Beth.
Oh yeah, I'm a clone. Oh gosh.
Your disguise is that you shaved one side of your head.
Let's go with Gladys.
Oh, okay. So she says, "Oh, hello, Gladys." She says, "What is your role aboard the ship?"
I'm the captain.
Oh, okay. And she shakes your hand, and she shakes hands with Keith and gets his alternate name. What did Keith write down his alternate name, or?
Maybe he did. He'd probably write it like exactly where I wouldn't look.
Right, exactly. In the middle of all of his random notes on the back of his character sheet. That's what my wife does.
So I guess he's Dennis then.
Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot he was going to be Dennis. So she shakes his hand, and she comes over to Ox as Ox is wiping his hands off and shakes.
Oh. It's Nancy Shumway. I wrote it on my...
Nancy That's even better than Gladys, actually.
I'll just type it in the chat so I don't forget.
Nancy Shumway sounds like somebody who works in HR.
Yeah, I definitely do.
Oh, I got called to Nancy's office. Probably going to get fired. So... She, Ox is wiping off his hands. She comes over and shakes Ox's head. "Oh, it's a pleasure to meet the Verger. You were the first that I have met, but I have heard much of your kind. Who might you be?"
You probably can't pronounce my true name, but you can call me Clifford.
Oh, that's awesome. She says, "Oh, yes, I get the joke. I get the joke, like the big red dog." And so she, after kind of meeting all of you, she says, and then Ting comes over and kind of I'm sure that Ting comes over, kind of whispers to Nancy that I got us a laser and then and a battery. That's kind of the best I could do, and so you're Rexar is going to be Gar of the Field Clan. Okay.
It's Garfield.
Garfield, yes. And so she kind of she introduces herself to Ting. I'm sorry, you were off. What is it that you do aboard the ship?
I'm Jug.
Oh, it's nice to meet you, Jug.
I'm here to provide inspiration to the gods as they watch us. If the gods are not entertained as they view us, then bad things are bad to happen. I am karma control.
When you say that, she makes this very to humans and to the Verger, she makes this very peculiar gesture. Clearly, it's a holy gesture. It's similar to like making the sign of the cross, Rexar, you recognize it as it is an Aslan. I was going to say religious, but Aslan don't really do religion. A it is a symbolic gesture um, for honoring the ancestors, and she makes it perfectly as if she were an Aslan herself. And she says, "I completely understand your purpose in the group, and that is an important, very important one." And she says something in Troc that Rexar you recognize as it basically it is an Aslan poem about the importance of honoring one's ancestors and being one with the universe. So the big thing, if there is a religion the Aslan follow, it is that they believe that there is a moment in everybody's life, an opportunity where your actions can be one with the will of the universe, and everything is acting in concordance, moving in the same direction.
I'm just gonna make my symbols and crap. I'm just gonna make it up just because I know she doesn't know shit about where I come from.
Yeah,
anyway.
probably not. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be like,
but she totally understands what she groks what you're putting down, and she turns to all of you and she says, "Please, would you join me in a small trip outside?" And she looks to the clan lord, and he kind of nods and gives her his blessing. And she leads you over to the airlock to this biome, and of course there are your pressure suits and filter masks. And she starts putting on a pressure suit, so you guys kind of get the idea that you need to suit up. But she wants to take you outside and show you something.
I'm down. Whatever. Sure.
So you guys get suited up.
Nanu. And I'll put on the suit.
You guys get suited up. You put on your filter mask. And if you remember when you first showed up, and your shuttle is, or I'm sorry, not your shuttle. The air raft, the air limousine that you guys rode in is parked out front, but also parked out front were a number of claw bikes. And she gives you the option. I mean, if you are tired after your hunt, we could take the claw bikes, or it is just a short walk.
What skill does it take to ride a claw bike?
It would be drive wheeled, and I don't know if you've seen a claw bike, but they are like the ultimate. Yeah, here it is. They're like the ultimate 4-wheel vehicle. Wait a minute. This is not. Oh, because I'm looking in the wrong place. That's why.
I can't drive that. Not proficiently.
So this is the claw bike. This right here looks like a redneck's dream, is what it looks like. Let's go mudding. Oddly enough, there's a lot of Aslan that look a lot like Larry the Cable Guy. But she says, she's just suggesting it because perhaps after your victorious hunt and riding that wild beast, I thought you might be tired. But it is perfectly all right. It is a short walk. We can take the walk. And she leads you up this mountain, or not up a mountain, up a ridge, and night has fallen outside the biome. Not that you'd be able to tell inside because he hasn't dimmed the lights yet. It still looks like it's middle of the day. And so you get up on this ridge, and she looks up into the sky. and she points at a constellation in the sky, and she starts to draw in the sky as though she is, drawing the circles of this constellation. And she says, "You see this constellation here? My people back on my people back when the glorious empire ruled this world, we called this the ring." And she where is it? Here, she says, the constellation you see before you is what we call the ring. The bright star to the left you know as Deneb. On the right side is the bright orange star, bright because it is of its nearness to us. My people believe that the star beckons us to sanctuary. It is the star of Ftaiwehoahyas, where our people have already been free for a generation. We wish more than anything else in the universe to join them. So she is talking about this world right here. And once again, perhaps yellow isn't the best color for my... That's better. So she's talking about Ftaiwehoahyas, which is within the 6 parsecs.
And we can go 4 without refueling, right?
That's a good question. Let me take a look. Bad Betty. It's got, well, it can do 2 jump 1s before needing to refuel. So,
a fuel bladder or something. I was trying to remember why it could do that many.
It's got the same size fuel tanks that it used to have, but the jump drive itself was damaged, and they didn't have the money to put or the parts to put in or repair the one that was there, so they just scrapped it and they put in a smaller jump drive from a trader ship, and so it can only make 2 jump 1s, but it's a jump 1 drive, but it's got enough fuel for 2. So, yeah, it can do 2 jump 1. So, I mean, let's see here, Yakia. Yeah, you can refuel either at Halai or at Ilia, and then jump straight to Ftaiwehoahyas. So you're looking at probably 3 weeks worth of jump time. Maybe 2.5 if you're in a hurry.
Well, I like that time frame. And how many people does she have? Is she bringing with her?
So she, in the course of this conversation, and of course, I mean the conversation, everything you're hearing from her, she's talking. You're all discussing with one another through filter masks. I'm sure everybody here knows what that's like after spending time in the pandemic, so that should be a good time. But she tells you, so the Betty can fit up to 220 passengers, and you're basically learning that she is she is the main leader of this group of people that you're taking, and she also has a couple of they're not really leaders, but they're kind of her right hand men. Where are they? What are their names? Their names are... So the first one is Uden Olmbris, and the other... Trying to keep all these names straight is hard. Ilium Antradi. And you saw them both as servants as well. This is Ilium Antradi. He kind of looks like he's going to be on the cover of a romance novel.
Or selling me some shampoo.
Yeah, he'll sell you some shampoo. And the other guy, Uden, looks like he's going to be in a samurai movie remake. Not the original, but a remake. Co-starring Keanu Reeves. He's a samurai, right?
Yeah. Does she know of anybody that might possibly lay claim to this planet that might be at ends with what you're talking about doing?
You mean lay claim to Trioki?
Right.
Well, the reason why her people want to go there is because, so Trioki was liberated about 30 years ago, and the Glorious Empire, and you haven't, Rexar's seen this firsthand, but you guys haven't. The Glorious Empire is known for using their slaves as shock troops, and they will put explosive collars on their necks and order them to charge into battle, and of course if they don't, they explode. And if they do, sometimes they explode, taking out more of the enemy. And the soldiers the slaves that came back after losing at Trioki came back with stories about the liberated slaves on Trioki fighting alongside the Aslan clans that had liberated them from the Herate. They came back with these stories about how great these people were, their great strength, their honor, and how they lived free, and that caused this cult-like religion of the Ring forming on Ftaiwehoahyas and other planets in the Glorious Empire, and the Glorious Empire did everything that they could to stamp this out. They would go in the middle of the night, go into these slaves' hovels and exterminate them if they discovered that they were part of this ring. All manner of thing. And basically told the slaves that, dreaming of going to Trioki is a fool's errand, because if you go there, the Herate is just going to exterminate you. And basically staying here and being a slave for us in the Glorious Empire is your only way of surviving. But this cult basically survived, and now that Ftaiwehoahyas is free, these human slaves are like, no, we want to go join our brothers, over in Trioki. And those people on Trioki have been free for, 30 years. So we want to join our brothers and sisters and live free like them. And so that is her dream. Now, the Betty can hold 220 passengers. 180 of those will be in low berths, 150 of which will be in the main ship. There will be 30 in the low berths in the shuttle, and then 30 to 40 more will be in double occupancy staterooms. And you guys get 5 to 10 staterooms, however many you need, for your own purposes. So yeah, that's where she wants to go. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but she tells you the story about the ring and whatnot as you walk back to the biodomes and kind of go back inside, and you're back sitting around the campfire looking at this map. The clan lord has lowered the lights, and the dome now. When you look up at the dome, it looks like you're looking at a night sky, and it looks like you are. If you didn't know better, you would think that you were on some planet on a savanna plain. The hologram is actually quite good. And so when you come back and you're sitting, you come back and you're sitting around the campfire looking at this map, and he says, "So have you, you've discussed with Lenka? Have you come to a decision?"
Most of them want to go to Treoki, and we have no problem with that, so we'll take them there.
He says that would be acceptable. He says there is a large population of humans on Treoki.
Well, they probably have enough resources for more, like in the hundreds. We can check with them and make sure it's okay to bring more to the first group.
He doesn't have a whole lot of information on Treoki, but you guys kind of finish up with the Aslan Co, and they thank you for coming to dinner. He wishes you safe journeys, and you will bring much honor to my clan and much honor to yourselves. And you are ferried back to the Betty, and you're at the Ftaiwehoahyas spaceport. Throw you back at there. So this is, of course, the Bad Betty's deck plan.
What TL level is this?
Ftaiwehoahyas?
Uh-huh.
It is... You know, I don't know that they actually told me. Find out. I think they're actually not half bad. It says they are... let's see here. They're tech level 13.
Oh, nice. I'd like to do some light purchasing before we leave, but go ahead.
Yeah, you guys are at the Ftaiwehoahyas spaceport. You know, Captain Treadwell is kind of sitting on the bridge looking at this map and kind of going over before they start to board up you know, the refugees. He tells you if you want to explore the nightlife of the spaceport, go right ahead. Who among you wants to branch out into the Aslan spaceport?
Oh, there's got to be a couple gambling places. I'll go.
Yeah, I definitely want to go out of the spaceport. I want to try to buy a claw glove. Then I really want to see if I can stretch it and get the TL14 model with the arc field. You know, but if can't, I'll go for the monofilament TL12 one.
I'm just gonna carouse because it'll be my last chance for a while.
Okay. Which book are you looking in, Ting?
I'm looking at the upgraded CSC update on page 139.
Okay.
The claw glove.
Yes.
It actually kind of says in the claw glove description, you know, that you know, it's made to kind of counter the Aslan dew claws.
So you're probably not going to find that on Ftaiwehoahyas for a couple of reasons. The first being that Ftaiwehoahyas is an Aslan world, and so, you know, most people here aren't going to need a claw glove. And two, the people that the humans that would be here would either get they would get monkey knives, or they would get if they could afford it, they would get a dew claw implant.
Right. All right. Well, That was worth my shot.
So Beth, are you going to go? So Ox was going to go looking for gambling. That kind of fits with carousing. Were you going to join him, or are you going to go off on your own?
I'll go with him if he'll let me.
Sure.
Okay. Rexar, what was your plan?
I'll go with Ox.
Okay, so the three of you are off looking for a gambling den. Whoever wants to can make a streetwise check.
Oh shit, not me.
I can do that. $12.
Nice. So you find you do find a, I guess you would call it a tavern. It's like Aslan taverns are a little weird. They're like a cross between an inn and a tavern, maybe more like a pub kind of situation. But they do have some gambling going on. The gambling, those of course in fights to first blood. They've got in the back or in the back corner of this this pub. They've got a essentially it's a boxing ring, and the Aslan they have open boxing matches that you can bet on. It's no weapons. It's all dew claw.
Oh, it's still gambling. All good.
Okay. And
We can just check their teeth first.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they're not these are I guess you could say friendly fights. So like I said, they're just the first blood, so there's usually not a whole lot of teeth gnashing or biting going on.
We just don't want to make sure you're the one you're betting on is healthy.
Yes. So how much do you want to bet?
2,000
okay.
overall for the night.
Okay. And we will
more about the gambling than the cash.
Rexar and Beth, you can both make a carouse check. And Rexar, you can actually make your carouse check with advantage since you are an Aslan.
Uh, 8 minus 2, which is 6.
Okay.
I got a 5.
So, yeah, neither one of you are doing a great job of. None of these Aslan really care. They don't want to talk to you. You did
it's
both
because I'm using my secret identity, and
right.
No one cares because my secret identity doesn't have land.
Right? Yeah, you're a nobody with your secret identity. But in the process, so you both spend 10 credits on these large tankards of Aslan ale. That's kind of like a spiced beer. It's that dust spice beer that they're drinking. You know, Aslan, they don't mess around. These tankards of beer are like 40s. They're huge. But you, in the process of this, you do both. You overhear some rumors, just like they did before. There it is. Yeah, the rumor that you had heard was Colony 6 and Delta Theta have experienced increased raids and attacks from the Glorious Empire was what you had heard before. You get a couple more. First one. 35. You hear that the Ftaiwehoahyas Triumvirate is using its resources to fortify the system and create a blockade. And so the Ftaiwehoahyas The triumph. There are 3 clans that control the planet Hrahau, and that triumvirate appears to be, according to this rumor, that they are building up their naval forces to blockade the world. You hear that Asus is experiencing tension with its Ihati population and is concerned about Aslan expansion. You don't necessarily know that you really believe that. I mean, you believe it because you just came from Asus. The situation that you came from isn't nearly as bad as what this rumor is going around. They seem to think that it's really a bad situation. And the last rumor that you hear is that, well, you get one more after this. You get Halai's reorganization of humans into a labor caste has increased the exploitation of its resources dramatically. So the planet Halai, their solution to the human problem was that rather than choosing to exterminate them or to relocate them, they created a labor caste that the humans could stay on the planet and basically perform menial labor, and there's really no opportunity for the humans in that caste to go above that's their station. That unlike other worlds that have fully incorporated humans into Aslan society, these humans are kind of stuck in this labor caste. So that's their solution. The last one that you hear is that things are heating up between the clans on Trioki as they determine what to do with the planet's billions of humans. Yeah, and they said billions of humans, billions with a B. There's Devin. Hello, Devin.
Hello. I told him we're carousing and he's free to come with us if he wants.
Yeah.
Carouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and make a carouse check, Keith.
Okay.
Would it be okay to fight people in the rain?
Oh, certainly. I mean, if that's what you want to do, they'll supply you. If you're a human and you want to, put your life on the line, they will go ahead and supply you with monkey knives.
I don't need the monkey knives to draw blood. I'll just go in unarmed.
Dude, bring the monkey knife.
Well, no, I mean I can grapple and bludgeon the guy with knee blows and shit to do damage.
Okay.
I got 7.
You got a 7. You get one more roll. The planet Elia is being reserved for the palatial manners and hunting grounds of Aslan nobles. So, according to this rumor, the whole planet is kind of being set up to be a nature preserve for Aslan nobility to go and do their hunting. So the rich Aslan can go there. Some of these rumors, you don't necessarily know how much of a grain of truth there is to that. Alright, hold on.
So is Tank really gonna die this way?
No, it's just the first blood. I mean, I'm thinking the Dew Claw doesn't do enough damage to kill me in one blow, I don't think. Find out.
Oh man, this is gonna be rough. I mean, I could try and stop you. I don't know how well it'd work.
My plan is to try to grapple this dude and use the grappling options to bash him. He can't attack me with his dew claw if I grapple him successfully. His only action is to do it. I'm basically gonna mount him like I did the other thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the how I can like
same strategy I'm gonna use here.
Be pretty hard
gonna mount him from behind and just grab his eyes and maybe a rear naked choke or something.
Yeah.
It's something to bet on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ox, how are you gonna bet?
I'll bet on Ting.
Hell yeah.
Aw, that's so sweet.
I'll bet on him.
Okay. How much are you going to bet?
100 credits.
I want to bet 700 on myself.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna look like a dick if you win, so.
Oh, you can bet against me if that's what you want. If you put enough money against me, I'll throw this fight. I'm just saying.
No, I'd never bet against you. The warning. If like everyone wins money and you win glory, then it's like, yeah, it really was a good idea. So.
Oh yeah, and if I get my ass headed to me by an Aslan, then I'm kind of hoping dude isn't like a Kung Fu Jedi master, because then I'm gonna get my ass headed to me. But I've got hand-to-hand skills. I just don't have dude claws.
It'll be okay.
I didn't expect you to any of you to actually want to fight. Well, I kind of thought that Rexar might want to fight.
Who am I to let another noble warrior prove himself? Be right back. My Burgerville just showed up.
Okay. Here we go. Aslan.
So we start with initiative, right?
Yeah, we will.
Well, then there. 2. Well, you're doing multiple initiatives on me?
Yes. No.
Oh, okay. Whew.
No, I haven't rolled initiative.
Okay. I should set up. Aslan in full battle dress.
You didn't ask the conditions of the fight.
I sure didn't. That was pretty stupid. And usually I'm pretty good at asking questions.
Yeah, no, there's no battle dress. It's basically unarmed except for Dewclaw and or monkey knives.
I don't need the monkey knives. They just get in the way.
Oh.
I gotta tell you guys something.
Yeah?
Burgerville has those waffle truffle fries.
Oh yeah,
They are
that
my
does sound
kryptonite.
good.
And I slap 3 or 4 of them in the middle of my burger, and it's like the best thing ever.
All right. Well, you get to go first, Tang. What do you want?
Well, that's wonderful. I want to grapple.
Okay. You certainly can do that.
We're going to do opposed. I got an 8.
Okay.
This could backfire.
Nope, he got a 4. He is grappled.
All right. I'm going to choose to do. I'm gonna run up and grab a hold of him, and I'm gonna kind of get him in a little choke hold there.
Okay.
And while I'm grappling him, my choice is I want to inflict damage equal to 2 plus the effect of the melee check.
Okay.
So I think our effect was 4. So that'd be six points of damage that ignores armor, I believe.
Okay.
Yep. Damage ignores any armor. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So I've got him grappled. He can try to ungrapple if he'd like.
Yeah, he is going to do that.
I got a 6.
I got a 10.
Well, then you.
I don't know why this is saying I got a 6.
Right.
I rolled a 6 and a 3, which is a 9, plus a 1 is a 10.
Yeah, and I rolled terrible. So you get ungrappled, I guess.
Yeah. He breaks the grapple and moves to the other end of the ring, or not to the ropes, but he gets some distance between you and he's standing there with his 2 dew claws out. What do you want to do?
I mean, if he went to the other end of the ring,
I mean, the ring's not that big. I mean,
yeah. He's got his dew claws out. I guess I'm just gonna rinse and repeat. Let's grapple again as I run up and grab a hold of him with a 10.
Okay. You grab him again, and he is growling quite profusely. He is pissed off at all this grappling shit.
Yeah, but the effect, I'm going to do the same thing, so it'll be 2 plus the effect, which is 3. That's 5. Another 5 points of damage.
Okay.
As I kind of, his endurance is probably going down. Maybe his mouth is bloodied. I don't know.
Yeah, you've punched him a couple of times, and the bell rings because you have you basically dropped him to 0 endurance and actually did some strength damage on him. You win. The odds were 2 to 1.
God damn.
Yeah!
I stand corrected once
Nobody
again.
expected the human to win.
So the house is loving some ting right now.
Yeah, the Aslan are all they're people that were spectators are buying you drinks. They are quite impressed with the fortitude of Ting. So yeah, you have at a table next to the ring. There's like a table full of just a table full of drinks. Each of you that bet, you get double your money back.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Ox, go ahead and make a gambling check. Gambling plus intellect.
Nine.
Ooh. You make an additional... You make an additional 90 credits.
All right.
Hell yeah.
We should enter Ting in races and fighting things more often.
Yeah, bring Ting to all of the Aslan pit fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I embarrassed him. I mean, him and his big, muscular, probably huge, ripping muscles and big dew claws. And, I'm just kind of a little wily guy and run up and...
So the thing that you learn through this little gambling endeavor is that the Aslan here on Ftaiwehoahyas, well, the first thing that Rexar you figure out is that a lot of these Aslan that are here are in fact Ihati. They're kind of just, but they're not like the Ihati that you met before on Katoria. These are they have land here. They're just kind of waiting for that land to open up. In other words, they're waiting for you to get the humans off of their property so that they can take over the land. So these Ihati are in a fairly decent mood. But the other thing that you are gathering is that they don't seem to have any kind of bias against the humans here. They don't look down on humans. They almost treat them as equals. All of these Aslan treat them that way.
This is my favorite Aslan play so far.
Yeah, right?
All the other Aslans have just been assholes.
So, by the end of the night, you guys kind of meander back to the Betty, and you come back with a little bit more information than you had before. Well, like I said, a lot of these rumors, you don't know that a lot of these are completely truthful, and you kind of learned that because of the rumors that you heard about the situation on Asus. You've been to Asus. It's not nearly the Ihati, expansion problem that the rumors here in the Harriet are making it sound out to be. But the one piece of information that does kind of concern you is that the Aslan clans on Traoki, are trying to determine what to do about the billions of humans that live there. And you're now trying to bring a ship with 220 more humans. The plan is to take a ship with 220 more humans to Traoki. Unfortunately, you're not going to really learn a whole lot until you actually go there. The library computer doesn't have a whole lot of information on the world, but I can tell you what it does have. It says it is a high population world, billions of sophons in size. It is part of the Aslan Harriet. There are multiple clans that have split control of the planet. It's in Guildhall subsector of the Trojan Reach. Tells you it is a member of the Aslan Harriet. For hundreds of years, the Glorious Empire controlled Traoki, which used the world as a breeding world for human slaves that now number more than 8 billion. The Harriet captured Traoki 30 years ago, but the Empire's breeding programs was so successfully crushed that they crushed the spirit of the human slaves that integrated this population to Aslan society. Appears that it's exceedingly difficult. The assumption that the library computer is making is that the reason why the humans have not successfully integrated into Aslan society is because the Glorious Empire just crushed their will, is basically what it's saying. But that's all the information that it has. Aside from that, it does tell you. It tells you that it is a tech level 8 world, and it has a a glorious Class D starport. If you can call it a Class D, if you can call it a starport. That's probably, fancy name for, we've got a cleared off rock where you can land your ship.
I think that's what Ergo had.
This planet is also like a direct line from one end of the Harriet right on into Drinax. I mean, in theory, if we make good friends and stuff, we're kind of connecting dots for an Aslan trade route.
Yeah, I mean,
just pointing that out.
Yeah, you could, well, and with your little situation of winning the fight and making friends with the clan lord, if you were able to pull this off, you could potentially have a fairly lucrative trade deal, where Aslan trade ships just come from Traoki clear to Drinax and stop over And that could make Drinax very wealthy. Could make
Not
you
only
very wealthy.
I mean, we could start here where we're at before we even leave here. I mean, because we're going to come back here to get shenanigans, and we can, we can make a badass trade. I mean, there's a lot of planets. If we link that together, that should get some serious income flowing into fucking old King Olab.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're able to pull that off, he's going to be... He's not really a fan of the Aslan, but he's a huge fan of the cashy money.
Who isn't?
Right.
We can use... Yeah, we've got a buffer zone system there that Alam or Aslam or whatever is right next to Drinax. I mean, we could theoretically...
Yeah.
Yeah, we could like cleanse the trade or whatever that goes to actual Drinax proper.
Yeah, you guys haven't been to Asim yet. Asim, the only thing that you know about Asim is that it is a chattel world of Drinax. Drinax pretty much, I mean, in all but name, Drinax directly controls Asim.
Yeah.
The government of Asim is called the Foundation, and Drinax, they pissed off Drinax, and Drinax pretty much obliterated them. And in that, they told the Foundation that Drinax will pick the new council for the Foundation to rule Asim, and one of their member goes back to Drinax to stay in the court as their representative there in the floating palace. And it was something like they were supposed to change that representative every 2 years. I don't know that it's changed more than a handful of times. And the Foundation, if they complain about that, the response from King Oleb and his court is, "Fuck you, we'll do what we want, pay me." And that's kind of how that whole government situation works.
Awesome. So they're in line.
And
therefore, yeah,
they are owned.
Have that, yeah. Right. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, if they don't want Aslan ships going into Drinax so much, we could send them there, and then we could just whatever we want at Drinax. They could sort it there and send it to wherever they need.
Right.
In the Sindalian Empire.
Right. And, I mean, it's just a quick jumping off point from Drinax to the Dust Belt. So, yeah, you have the potential for a really good, lucrative trade deal with the Herate here. Potentially. Or at least you have your foot in the door to create those contacts. So, when you get back, Captain Treadwell is still on the bridge, kind of plotting this whole thing out, and he calls Nancy, Captain, to the bridge, and I mean, the rest of you are welcome to go as well. But he basically tells the captain that he says, "So my job in the morning is going to be, and pretty much all day tomorrow, is going to be getting these 220 passengers on board the Betty. And the number one part of that is getting the 150 passengers into low berths on the Betty itself and another 30 into the low berths in the shuttle. If you or anybody on your crew has medical or electronics skills, that will assist, and we may be able to get through this faster. The rest of the crew, with the exception of your engineer, I kind of would like him, if possible, if he could be doing what he does best in the engineering, making sure that this ship is in tip-top shape and ready to go, because we don't want any shorts or power problems once we get people into low berths. That would be a bad situation. But the rest of your people, if they could help load cargo, I've told Lenka that her people are only allowed to bring essentially what they can carry, so backpacks and whatever they can have in their arms. But still, that's going to be 220 people. So stowing that gear into what's left of our cargo space is going to be pretty much an all-day affair. So he says, do you have anybody with medical and electronics abilities?
I have some medical. Does anybody have electronic?
I have, between my general skill set and what I can run through the wafer jack, I mean, I've got comms, scan, or sensors. I've got computers at 2. I mean, all of those are at 2. Comms at 2, sensors at 2. I've got robotics at 2 now. And I have a electronics computer at 2.
Gonna need that help, or not really.
So, King, I know that you've been perusing the Central Supply Catalog Update 2023.
Yes.
I don't know if you looked at the wafer jack, but it looks like they simplified the rules for the wafer jack in a very good way. You might want to check that because it used to be that so if you got like expert 4, but you only had or your wafer jack would only be able to run it at 2 or something like that. It was like half of what the bandwidth was. It doesn't seem like the way it reads now doesn't read that way.
Okay. I got the Neuralink too, so I can do all skills. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got the computer implant.
Yeah. Yeah, but I definitely will look that up.
Yeah, take a look at the wafer jack because it's worded differently than before. It was worded poorly before. I mean, there's no arguing that it was worded poorly. But the way that it reads for the ruling now, it seems like you can actually get the full benefit of whatever skill chip that you're slotting.
Awesome.
That's the way it looks. But anyways.
All right.
So the following morning, there outside the Betty, there is this line. It looks like, Walt Disney World. There is a line of people waiting to get onto the Betty. And so Beth and Ting, you were going to help Treadwell getting people into Lowbirds, which is kind of the first priority. Ox, what was your plan going to be? Ox and Rexar, what are your plans going to be? Are you going to help stow luggage, or?
I'll just stay out of the way. I don't feel like being a purser. Unless the captain has something he's done.
I am once again fucking with the turret.
Yeah. Well, so while this is all going on, so Keith, as these people are coming up, they're standing in line. There are a couple of female Aslan techs out front that are mounting the it's a fixed mount pulse laser to the front of the Betty. They're actually going to mount 2 pulse lasers to the front in a fixed mount. So you can write that down on some notes if you'd like. In fact,
would it possibly be better to mount it facing to the back?
Yeah, you guys do a lot of running.
I'm thinking, we're not going to be doing attacking. We might be doing running. Just saying, as a thought.
I mean, that of course is an option. I don't know. Where would you like to mount it? I mean, you could mount one in the front and one in the back.
That's what I do.
Yeah, let's do one in the front and one in the back. That sounds good.
Okay.
That gives us a little bit more options when we're in battle.
Okay. So if you want to write down a note, the pulse laser, it is a tech level 9. It has a range of long, and the damage is 2d. And so, yeah, so Keith, go ahead and make a engineering power plus intellect or education check, your choice. Captain, did you have anything specific you wanted Ox to do? Or
Load some cargo.
Fine.
he's gonna be the most useless porter there is. Rexar, what are you? There's no turret for you to mess with. I suppose that Rexar could be on the bridge as Keith is helping direct these Aslan engineers to wiring the guns, so that Rexar, since he's the one that usually presses the big red button.
Yeah, Rexar's has a little paintbrush, and he's painting fire on the big red button. And a bunch of arrows pointing towards it.
Yes. So what'd you get, Keith?
14.
Okay. So yeah, you are successfully getting this these lasers mounted, and Ox, you are helping load. There's a couple of the other refugees that are helping you load cargo into the cargo bay, but you're not doing quite as much work as they are. You're more supervising.
Right.
Right, because they're refugees, so they need supervision.
They're only human, not like the real people.
Right. And Beth and Ting, you guys, as you are talking with Treadwell, and Treadwell's trying to get the crowd organized into who's going to go into the ice boxes and who's going to not go into the ice boxes. And there are several people that are kind of going into a panic mode. The two of you can make a recon plus is it recon? Actually, Beth.
I sure like recon.
Well, you're not. Yeah, but it's not. That's not appropriate. It would be. Beth, what kind of science skills do you have?
Biology and cybernetics.
I will allow Beth to make a raw science, so science 0, plus your choice, either intellect or education, and this is basically going to be a psychology check. Wow. Okay. So you, Beth, using your medical expertise, more or less, you gather that these people that are kind of going into a panic, they are going into a panic because some of them are older, and they have been old enough that they have been loaded into low berths by the glorious empire. And as you have learned in the past, what is scaring these people is that a lot of times the glorious empire, in order to maximize their cargo capacity on their slave ships, they would load people 2 or 3 at a time into a single low berth, which, if there's more than one person in a low berth, your rate of survival goes through the floor. And so a lot of these people either were literally lucky enough to have survived that process, or they lost loved ones being forced into that situation. And so these people are panicking. They do not want to go into low berths.
Can we be like there's only one person to each low berth? Can we explain that to them, or they?
Yeah.
Maybe I can. First. Right. How about I just lie to them and tell them that these are not really traditional low berths. They just kind of ease to sleep. We'll still need to bring you food and everything. This just kind of puts you in a slower state. It's not really a low berth.
Oh, boy. Beth, make a persuade plus charm check. And Ting, make a deception plus charm, but you have a bane on your on that roll.
Oh, thanks a lot.
I got a
All
9.
right. Let's see. Here we go. Roll. I want to roll 3d6. And it's only +2. Here we go. So let's see. So that's 9 + 2 is 11.
So
Ting is a smooth talking sucker.
yeah, they between the two of you, you get several of them. Basically, you are able to persuade them. They don't really believe Ting all that much. They're like, eh, they're not stupid. They're like, we've never heard of lowbirds that are like that.
We just put it on the low setting. I mean, really, it's okay. Everything has a setting.
These are set for defrost.
Like, yeah.
These are more like igloo coolers. They're not a freezer.
We'll do the low setting. I'll see you in a couple hours. This will be okay.
They're like, yeah. But Beth kind of, smooths things over, and in the process of this conversation, several of the people in that have been separated into the 30 to 40 group of 30 to 40, they overhear this conversation, and they tell Captain Treadwell that they are that they understand the fear of these people, that they're much more comfortable going into low berths than those people, and they kind of the refugees kind of work it out amongst themselves that they'll trade positions for the people that are terrified of being in a low berth, and so those people can actually be put into staterooms. And like I said, the 30 to 40, that's going to be double occupancy staterooms, but Lenka and Ilium tell you, they're not, I mean, double occupancy in a ship like this, that's really cramming them in there, but they're not really concerned about it because they are under the impression that this is only going to be a 2.5 to 3 week trip, and then everybody is going to live on Ftaiwehoahyas. And I mean, she's adamant, like, oh, well, as soon as we get there, that's where we're going to live. And, so it's only going to be like a 3-week trip at max. We can survive with double occupancy. And so, you guys kind of get it worked out.
So this whole deal is one trip. We're just going to take one big dump of them over there.
Well, it's going to be overall. It'll end up being several trips, but you don't know that Ftaiwehoahyas is going to be your final stop. I mean, you have to go there first and see what the situation is, if you can even get these people to be able to live there, and then then set that up, and then you would go back, get another 220 passengers, bring them back and forth a couple of times before this would all pan out. But and during this whole situation, Nendo and Yana Tink are interviewing refugees. You're constantly on camera. There's a couple of times where Nendo is like getting super close for those close-up shots. And Keith, Ting, and Beth each make a sanity. Just make a raw sanity check.
Does that have any modifiers, or is this whatever you roll?
So your sanity, it depends on what your sanity stat is, but it should. It was okay. Just a 2d6 check, so it might have a modifier to it.
Oh, well, I rolled 2 6s. I'm fine.
Hold on. There. Here we go.
Keith got a 9.
I got a 9. Yeah.
Okay, so you all made. What did Beth get?
I rolled 12. I don't know if I add to that or not, but you know.
So what is your sanity stat?
11.
So yeah, you have a +1 to your sanity.
Okay, so I got 13 then.
Okay,
Right.
so yeah, you all made it. Keith and Ting, you're getting a little irritated. There's been several times where, I mean, this is only the first day, and Nendo is like right up in your face, getting those close-up shots, and you know, Yana Tank is asking the typical reporter questions like, "Oh, well, how do you feel right now? What, you know, well, how do you fucking think I feel?" I'm like, I'm in the process of bolting pulse lasers to the front of this old boat. I mean, you know, stupid questions.
Is it possible that we could, before we take off, that we could maybe purchase, or that they could purchase some small camera drones so they could just work the drones and stay the fuck out of my face?
Oh, he's got camera drones as well.
Oh, well, why doesn't he use those and stay the fuck out of my face?
Because he's got ocular implants as well. So he's getting he's got a Neuralink, optical implants, and multiple drones that he's controlling all at the same time. And so he's got like 4 drones up that are getting multiple different camera angles all at once. And then once it's, you know, quote unquote, in the can, then he'll edit it out before he makes his news broadcast. So, yeah, you know, they're being reporters. They're a pain in the ass.
Damn it.
And
we're gonna have to kick their ass.
Space them. You know, you are at the core. You are pirates.
We'll sell them off as ransom.
Yes,
that'll be the story.
Right. So. You know, by the end of the day, you know, you get these people into their low berths. Beth and Ting, go ahead and make a medic plus your choice of either intellect or education, and Ting, you can make an electronics, computers plus your choice of intellect or education. Okay.
It's like a 10.
What did Beth get?
Oh, I got a 9.
Okay. So between the two of you, you actually get them in and situated down here in the low berths here and on the low berths of the shuttle, quite a bit quicker than Captain Treadwell was expecting. He was expecting you guys to be doing this, you know, into the early morning hours of the following day and actually taking off with little to no sleep. But it's only like 6 p.m. and you've got things pretty much situated. And the rest of the crew, Treadwell asks Ox to kind of congregate the rest of the crew up here in this section of the on deck 4, kind of get them situated into double occupancy rooms, and see if you can't, you know, get them situated and secured. And of course, there will be some rooms up here taken up as well, and on deck 5. And then you're basically ready to go.
I noticed something. It says that we have a collapsible fuel tank.
Yes.
Of 60 tons in the system. Can we, if we're not loading up a bunch of cargo, can we fill that to get like a 3J1?
You
blah
certainly
blah
can. You probably can. Hold on here. Let me take a look. Where's Betty?
There under systems, it says collapsible fuel tank, 60 tons.
Right, hold on. Yep, it can cross up to 3 parsecs without stopping if necessary. So yeah, you can make. So that's you don't even have to stop to refuel. You can make you know, this journey directly in 3 weeks.
Is that cool to go ahead and do that, Captain Nancy?
Let's hop to it.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Jug.
Jub Jub.
Jug, Jug, G-U-G. It's a play on the word GIF. Because some people call it a GIF and other people call it a GIF. So I mix G's up in my spelling. I'm Jug.
Hop to it, you.
Hey,
yeah. You. All right. That's Y-E-W.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get everything situated, Keith. You have the pulse lasers all mounted, ready to go. Rexar, you are Rexar. Make a gunnery plus intellect check.
12.
Nice. Yeah. You read the display, and over the comms, Rexar gives you the dew claw up that his board is reading green and 5x5. Everything's wired, ready to go. The batteries, the 4 high capacity batteries are charged. So you basically have these 4 each of these batteries can hold an additional 120 points of power. So
do any of those annoying cameras fly in front of my face?
Oh yeah, constantly.
The first one that flies in front of my face, I go, Aslan battle reflexes, and I smack it to the ground.
Make a make a melee unarmed plus either dex or strength check.
Strength. That's an 11.
So you swat this drone and it smacks into the ground, and it within 10 seconds, Nando is running up into the bridge, and he's like, "Hey, that's gonna cost."
That's not my fault. You made it sneak up on me. I am a highly trained Aslan warrior. I have to be on guard. There could be people coming from my territory at any day.
And he is kind of pissed off. He picks it up off the ground and heads back towards engineering to try and find Keith to see if Keith or somebody else might have tools to be able to fix his drone. So Beth, you are given clearance by Ftaiwehoahyas flight control. You are clear for takeoff. You can make a piloting plus dex check.
Okay.
Who's making the astrogation checks? Is that
Keith is doing that as well.
Okay.
I got 9 for piloting.
Okay.
15.
Nice. Okay, so Keith is sitting there running astrogation checks on the bridge while Beth takes off. Now, this is a bit of a shaky takeoff. This is probably the shakiest takeoff you've ever taken. So the problem with the Betty is that the Betty has a standard hull. It was never meant to land on a world. The only reason why the Betty had landed on Ftaiwehoahyas is because of the low gravity and which would allow it to do so. But generally, that is what the shuttle is for. And so usually in most atmospheres, you're going to be at a -2 if you try to land the Betty, which is why you use the shuttle. But this is the shakiest takeoff you've ever had. The whole ship seems like it's kind of shaking, and there are several times through turbulence that you think maybe it's going to come apart beneath you before you even break atmo. But Beth does get it out and into space, and the whole time, the whole time, Keith is running his calculations. And we'll just use this map because it's kind of close up. So you are here. Keith, what route are you taking to Ftaiwehoahyas?
Okay, let's see. So
You're starting.
I think it would take Ilya.
Ilya. Okay, and then like this blank square or this blank square.
1424.
Okay, and then straight on to Ftaiwehoahyas. Okay, so he has the jump course, at least the first one, to Ilya laid out, and let's see. All right, Keith, you can make a. Well, the first thing, because of the power requirements of the Betty, Keith, make a electronics power plus intellect or education check.
I got a 6. I rolled 2.
Oh.
Well, that's okay because you had some breathing room there because you had like a +7, so that is going to give you a +5 to your engineering J drive plus intellect or education check.
All right. Oh gosh, it's 21.
Holy shit! All right.
With the 5.
All right. You have made it to the 100 diameter limit, and you make your jump. And we will pick up next week with you coming out of jump in Leah, and potentially, the fast route, of course, would be to just have Keith lay in another course. But that's going to be a little bit more dicey because it is into a blank square, but we'll get to that next week. And we'll pick this up then at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night with another episode of Pirates of Drinax.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
You too. Thanks.